Welcome to Spoonful of Ohm's Flow class with me, Gina. Inhale, reach your right leg up toward the ceiling, press it into your right heel, turning the big toe down toward the ground. On your exhale, bring your right knee in toward the chest. Shift forward as you step the right foot in between the hands, bringing your left knee to the floor, Anjaneyasana, arms rise. Exhale as you bring the hands down to the floor to the inside of the foot and heel toe the foot a little to the right side as you push the hips to the right. Take your left palm to the floor, tuck your left toes, lift the knee, come onto the outer edge of your left foot and step your right foot back, side plank, right arm reaches up. Reaching the right arm forward, inhale, lower the hand to the floor, shift forward, hold. And on your exhale, lift the hips up and back, walking your hands back toward your toes. Inhale, lengthen onto the fingertips. Exhale, release and fold. Inhale, bend the knees, reach up, chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, folding forward, Uttanasana. Inhale to a half lift. Exhale, release the hands down, walk your hands forward into down dog. Inhale, reach your left leg up toward the ceiling, press into your left heel, turn the big toe toward the floor. Exhale, bring your left knee in toward the chest, shift forward, stepping your left foot in between the hands. And bring your right knee down to the floor, untuck the toes, arms rise up, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, release the hands to the floor to the inside of your left foot, heel toe the left foot just the tiniest bit out to the side. And let the hips pull over to the left as you fold here. And inhale, press into your hands, tuck your right toes under, lift the knees, step your left foot back as you come into side plank, left arm reaches up toward the ceiling. Inhale, left arm comes forward past the ear, lower the hand down, shift forward, inhale, hold. Exhale, downward facing dog, walk your hands back toward your toes. Inhale, lengthen onto the fingertips, half lift. Exhale as you release and fold over the legs, walk your hands forward as you come into plank. On your exhale, let the knees come down, lower down the front of the body, hip, stomach, chest, chin. Press into your hands as you lift into cobra, staying a little bit lower, using the muscles of the back and squeezing the elbows behind your wrists. And exhale as you lower down, tuck your toes, inhale, press into plank or modified plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, reach your right leg up toward the ceiling, turn the toes toward the right long edge of the mat and bend into your right knee. Keep your hands to the floor as you tap your right toes down behind your left leg and then lift your right leg back up. Bend the knee, open the hip, and tap your right toes over to the left side. Press into your right hand as you feel maybe a stretch down the right side of the body. Lift the right leg up and back. And open the hip, bend the knee, last one. Tap your right toes down to the left side. And inhale, reach the right leg up and back. Bring the knee in toward the chest, shift forward, stepping your right foot in between the hands. Arms rise up, high lunge. On your exhale, release the hands to the floor and straighten your right leg, keeping your left toes tucked and the heels lifted. Come up onto your fingertips and bend into your left knee as your right toes point up toward the ceiling. On your inhale, as you rise up, move up into goddess pose, bending the knees, adjusting the hips, and reach the arms up with a bend to the elbows. On your exhale, spiral your hands down to the floor, frame out your right foot, press into your palms, send your right leg up and back, three-legged dog. Open the hips so the toes point toward the long edge of the mat and walk your hands back so the left hand comes underneath the shoulder. Maybe your right fingertips stay down or the right arm lifts as you move into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. Exhale, lowering your right hand down to meet the left, bend your left knee, lower the right foot to meet the left, and bend both knees as you rise up into chair pose. And exhale, folding forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, release the hands to the floor. Walk your hands forward as you come into plank. Shift forward, inhale. Exhale, bend the elbows, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg reaches up toward the ceiling. Press through the heel, turn the toes to the long edge, bend the knee. So you open the hip. Come forward and tap your left toes over to the right side. Press into your left hand so you really begin to feel a stretch in the side body. Inhale, reach the left leg up and back. And then exhale, tap the left toes over to the right behind your right leg. Good, and lift it up and back. And one more time, tap the toes over to the right side. And lift the left leg up and back. Exhale, bring the knee in toward the chest, shift forward, step the foot in between the hands, squeeze the inner thighs together, high lunge. And exhale for pyramid, Parsvottanasana, 10 sides, stretch straight in the left leg, fold toward the left thigh, right heel is lifted high over the big toe mound to stretch through the toes. And then walk your hands over to the right side, bend into your right knee. Option to take a half bend or come all the way down as your left toes point up toward the ceiling. And then as you lift up, move into goddess, adjust the feet, toes are pointing toward the long edge corners, bend the elbows, bend the knees. And then spiral your hands down to the floor, frame out your left foot, send your left leg up and back, open the hip, turn the toes to the left, walk your hands back toward your toes. So the hip is already open here as you come back. Option to keep both hands to the floor or lift your left arm up for Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. On your exhale, bend into your right knee, lower the left hand, lower the left foot to the floor. Both knees bend as you reach up, chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, folding forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, release the hands down, walk your hands forward as you come into plank. Shift forward, bend the elbows, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog, lifting the hips up and back. Turn your toes toward the front corners and same with your fingers so that they're pointing toward the front corners of your mat. Heel slightly in, heel of the hand and heel of the feet are both turned in slightly. And then let your hips move from side to side. And coming back to center. Walk your hands back toward your toes. Let your feet come to hip width and point forward once more. Bend the knees nice and deep so you're sitting toward your heels. Your toes can be tucked. You can also sit on a block or two if that feels better for you. And then let your heels sink down. Spread the knees apart and let your shoulders move in between the knees. Now, if you feel like you're going to roll or rock back, you can take a blanket and roll it up and place that underneath the heels so you're slightly lifted up away from the floor and supported there. And then as you come into our malasana or garland pose, you can wrap your arms around the front of the knees and shin so the arms reach out to either side. Or you can start to bring your hands back behind you and clasp a hold of the hands behind your heels. And same option, you can have the block and be seated on a block or two as well. And on your inhale, extend and reach your legs forward toward the front corners of your mat, preparing for our final resting pose of Shavasana. Palms can face up toward the ceiling or in toward the body as you begin to soften the muscles, using any kind of props that might be helpful for you. So maybe you want a rolled up blanket under the knees or blocks under the knees. You can take a folded blanket under the head or a flatter pillow to help support the head. And then once you find your comfort, bring your attention to your feet and your ankles and begin to soften there. Relax and soften through the legs, up through the knees, the thighs, and the hips. Soften and relax through the lower back and the abdomen, the upper back and the chest. Relax through the shoulders and down through the upper arms, the elbows, the lower arms, the wrists, and your fingers. Relax and soften through the neck and the throat. Allow tension to release from the forehead and in between the eyes and around them. Softening around the lips and the mouth, the jaw, and the tongue. And giving yourself permission to move a little bit deeper into your Shavasana. And on your inhale, start to wiggle your fingers and your toes, rotating your wrists and your ankles, and reaching your arms overhead, coming into a full body stretch. Exhale as you pull your lower back toward the ground and bring the knees in one at a time toward the chest as you wrap your arms around the shins. Rolling onto either side, resting there a moment. And taking your top arm pressed down to sit up for Sukhasana, crossing the ankles or shins, letting your hands rest on your knees or in your lap as you bow your head to yourself. Take a moment here to thank yourself for coming onto your mat to practice. And we'll end with the sound of Om, taking a deep inhale. Om. And thank you so much for joining me for flow class this morning.